What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we're taking a little break from Suicide Squad, and we're going to talk a little bit about something that I've found pervasive in video game reviews. Gotham Knights has been the eye-opener for me. I basically got this slap in the face when reviewers that I trusted did not categorize or characterize Gotham Knights in the light that it was designed to be. I've seen a lot of, criticisms, and there are a few that comes to mind. I made a video just recently as well, where I talked about how these so-called reviewers went ahead and they mischaracterized the combat for Gotham Knights. I showed 3 examples of 3 videos that average at least 1 million views or close when it comes down to it. Now, I remember that when I first made the counters to the combat that these people had mischaracterized, I made it in a 2-part video. If you want to see the 2-part video so you can get some context, what I've done is I've created a thread on the Video Game Fight School channel's, Discord server where you can go and see kind of like what's going on. So here is one of the videos, and here I did 2 responses to the combat. This person literally suffered from a skill issue, did not learn the game, did not learn the combat. Their name is White Light. They make YouTube videos, and a lot of the games that they make videos on are not necessarily high skill ceiling games. I'm not saying it's anything, to do with their gameplay skill. I'm just saying I haven't seen anything like a Sekiro video. Maybe I'll see, say, a Dark Souls video, which, yes, that I can consider that. But Gotham Knights threw a lot of these people for a loop. They didn't necessarily know what they were dealing with. They were wanting like an Arkham game of some sort. So since I made these videos, a lot of folk have said, well, you focused on just one part of their critique where they seem to have made a mistake, which I disagree. They did not make a mistake. That's what's called irresponsibility. You have a big job to do. If you don't do it right, you are fired. So I fired reviewers because of all these guys and their mischaracterizations. And they said, what are other things that they've said? Have you not paid attention? And those things, they seem to be valid as well. So I wanted to go ahead and realign the goalposts because when I made my claims, I said these people mischaracterized the combat, which I think is the most important part of an action game. A game with combat, you got to be able to do your combat right. And if somebody says your combat sucks when it doesn't, they have basically destroyed your game. Now, I understand that some people might say, well, okay, how about the other things in the game? And I get it, but that is moving the goalpost because I never made the claim about the other things. In fact, I said, let's throw the other things away. Let's not even bother about them, whether or not they're correct or not, whether or not they're true. Let's focus on the combat, which is from someone who's played about 400 hours of Gotham Knights. That's all you're going to be doing. After you beat the game, when you get to end game, you're just going to be fighting. You're going to be learning the systems and the mechanics. So I can understand when somebody might be coming on some other conclusion. So I wanted to establish that I don't have to do anything else. Okay, so the Laughing Z is a audience member in the Video Game Fight School community, and he was the one who actually set me on the path and said, okay, because I was saying these people mischaracterize the combat, and he said to make a video disproving them, and I did. But the Laughing Z, you've come around again. Shout out to you, by the way. I mean, this is not, to do anything, but you want me to basically elaborate on other problems that they've had. Because you said this. You said, again, your only argument about these creators is basically saying they're wrong or lying about the Court of Owls combat. It's not only the Court of Owls combat. Laughing Z, I made 2 videos. One of them is the League of Assassins, and then the other one is about the enemy animations that they can break and change animation states. You have to watch these 2 videos. There is way more than the Court of Owls combat is just a clip that I showed in this particular video. If you go on the Discord server right now, for those of you who may be curious, I have 2 videos that I made. There's a part 1 and then there's a part 2. So this is way more than that. And even if I didn't do anything else, these reviewers are still shown to be charlatans. This one especially. He has 1 million views on this video, hasn't corrected it or anything. The developers who made Gotham Knights, the creative director, game director, and producer are gone from the studio because of folk like this, that all they wanted was Arkham, me. And they went ahead and destroyed pretty much what I think is the reputation of this game, not categorizing it or judging it in the way that it should be. I also got another comment where somebody said, this might be me hating. It's not me hating. It's actually what's called accountability. When you hold somebody's feet to the fire, it's not always the most pleasant thing. It really puts you in a weird position because now you've now become the arbiter of some, standard or whatever. And I hate to be in that position. But because people were tarnishing me, saying to me, just say that, you enjoyed a bad game, when many of them have the misunderstandings that were provided by these so-called reviewers that this game is a bad game when it's not. So I needed to make sure that we set the record straight and set the standards in place. A 2-part video is already enough to show you that these guys are fugazis when it comes to gaming. That's it. Well, this particular one anyways. The other ones I can make videos and I can showcase what they did with combat as well and how it was mischaracterized. Rather than them just saying, I didn't like these systems, which I'm not saying they must like the systems. They went ahead to say that these systems are subpar in ABC, hence the game is bad. Very faulty conclusion overall with the way things are. Gotham Knights does have its problems. I know its problems. But it seems like the way the whiplash has happened, I've been put in a position where I literally have to talk about how a lot of the things people are calling problems are them, the gamers themselves, and the combat is the most technical part to be able to do that, because that is something that you, the gamer, gets to control based on the parameters that the developers have already put in the game. Let me give you an example. So Laughing Z, let me just throw this one in here for you. I made a whole video about this. White Light said when you're fighting the League of Assassins, all you do when they're attacking you is you dodge. Right? He said you can't do anything else. I made this in a part 2 of the video. So I had to make a video showing him that even when you're dodging, you have openings and gap strings. Gotham Knights is a high skill game that requires for you to be able to learn animations and gaps, just like fighting games require. And here you see me fighting the League. This is a random video. I have thousands of hours of this footage, maybe hundreds. I don't know if it's thousands, but hundreds of hours. And you see this enemy NPC as they attack me. 1, 2, in the middle. I don't have to dodge. I could have attacked them at any time. I just use my special ability beatdown. Look at my controller. It's a beatdown ability, but you have to time it just right. At the moment where I see the red thing flash, I already activate my R1 button, and then I know my B is what I'm gonna use to activate it, and I'm just gonna need to tap, or X, sorry. And I basically break their poise. It's a very interesting game when you learn how to play, and the combat is so unique. In my opinion, it really does a good job, and so this is why I went this direction, and I don't have to do anything else. I mean, this is not a matter of say, oh, you're only going for the combat. No, I did 2 videos about other systems as well that relate to this. But here's the thing. I'm happy to actually oblige and actually take on the challenge, but you have to actually watch the 2 videos and conclude from what I've said in order for you to be able to get a full idea as to how bad this was from this one creator. And it's almost similar with the others. It's insane how almost similar it is, because they came in with this wrong perception. The press and the media came in with this wrong expression that, expectation or impression that it's not like the Arkham games or whatever. But if you go to Steam, and I know people jump on Steam and say, well, look at the reviews, they're all negative. Read the negative reviews. They sound just like the gaming journalists. They literally are. When you read the reviews that are positive, they'll tell you, we just played the game for what it was. It's not a bad game, not a great game, but not a bad game like it was made out to be. So I wanted to go ahead and realign the goalpost so we don't shift it, because I am not on the defensive at all. The person on the defensive is the YouTuber that made the YouTubers, 4 of them that have big channels with big views. I want to just make sure I emphasize this, that they made false statements. So if they are bothered to actually respond, good. I'm not on any, I have no reason. The burden of proof is not on me. They failed to prove what it is that they claimed. I just exposed them. I'll be happy to keep going. I'm just saying that we need to just say, okay, this is based on me just wanting to say, all right, let's just do this for fun, for sport, so that we can see the depth and the extent of this, because there are many, many more challenges that these reviews provided for this game right out the bat. Not saying that some of the things that they said is not true, but saying that for the most part, this was the most irresponsible thing they could have done when it came to this game. So I'm making this video kind of to say, all right, this is where we're going to start from, because they already lost in regard to their claims. And the people that yelled at me that, and another thing too, there was some personal aspect of this, because people kept saying, you're shilling for a bad game and all this stuff. And then when I said, no, these people just lied. They said, prove it. Then I proved it. I remember, if you even look at one of the comments on this video, let me show you exactly what I've been dealing with, because this is very, very important. One of the videos when I made, when I was able to go ahead and pretty much back up my claim, right? I remember a comment on that video. It said something that was very interesting. This person replied, and said, I'd literally taken the time to clip, to do the job of what people challenge me for. This person says, keep doing these videos. You might get a job you want at Warner Brothers Montreal. I've never seen a person that defends a bad game this much. So I said, I'm not arguing the game is good. You're trying to distract from the evidence in front of you. I'm calling out the word salad this YouTuber put together under the guise of why he thinks the combat's bad. You can argue on his side or against them with your facts. And then this person said, I did that in other videos. And I said, and then finally he said, I see your point. I don't even care what the other YouTuber said, and I didn't watch it. I just think if this is how future developers think about the game systems, we'll keep getting pitiful games like this. Some people are not bothered to even understand what this is all about. And that's the challenge you have with the internet. But I'm here to do the work. I'm a DC fan, and these fools, they stepped on the wrong toes. Some of our DC fans don't have what I think the gatekeeping that the Marvel fans have. You should have seen the Spider-Man fans, bro. They did not let you get away with anything. And then the DC fans are over here just capitulating to people who, for the most part, don't really know how to play the game that was made for them. And so I'm like, nah, that's not how things should be. They need to be able to be truthful. They need to be accurate when they make these criticisms, because I'm certain most of them don't even know or have a clue what they're talking about from a technical perspective, from a skill perspective. This is quite evident because the best that they can do is get a microphone and a camera and talk about video games. Give them a game engine. There's a free one. There's like 2 free ones out there. Give them a book. Let's see if they can come up with anything better if they so mightily think that their criticisms in a creative space, wrong criticisms anyway, actually mischaracterizations of a creative work, is of any value to the world. So this is a very important topic to me. I'll put this video on the Discord as well, on the thread, so that we just have the receipts in context, so that nobody is like lost or misplaced. But their point, their position is already moot and useless for this particular game. However, I will go ahead and continue to point out more just because, I've been asked to do so. Thanks for watching. Peace out.